Hello and welcome back to the right hand. This is the Facing Your Fears series. Once again, today we will be talking about communication. Communication is key. We are Ruben Allen. We are law firm advisors. We work mainly with minority and women-owned law firms, uh, small law firms, solo attorneys, practice. We work in conjunction with Marshall Graham, attorney search, executive search. So here we go, facing your fears. It's communication is key. And this is not only with communication with clients, but communication within your firm, communication with your team members, communications with those that report to you, communications with those that you work with. And you hear people say in relationships, like the most important part of a relationship, of any relationship, is communication, being able to communicate. And with that, there's 5 pillars of communication. There's listening, engagement, there's clarity, there's consistency, and then there's transparency. So we're just going to briefly just cover them all, talk about them all. First one is listening, and that's very important. That's probably number one on the list because it's being open to receiving criticism, alternate ideas, and listening to what the temperature of your employees, your team members are, what is bothering them, what they struggle with. Be open, listen, sit down, put time into listening to what they're saying. And maybe you're not a straight one-on-one type of person. That's something you should work on and try to become, because as a business owner, there's a lot of one-on-one that needs to happen. You can use employee surveys. You can use anonymous surveys if employees aren't comfortable expressing how they feel. You can use pulse surveys randomly just to gauge the pulse of the team. Feedback channels, an email box, basically a blank email box where they can go into and kind of say, hey, I think we should work on this, or hey, this is what I noticed. So you can see and engage how the people who work for you and work in your firm are, what their challenges are, how they're progressing, how they feel, what the temperature, gauge the temperature. And this goes with clients. Everything I just said also goes with clients. The surveys, anonymous surveys, pulse surveys, anonymous feedback channels. Know what your clients think of your work, what they're saying about you, how they feel. Because we are humans, and a lot of humans walk away from confrontation or fear confrontation. And I don't mean like fighting confrontation. I mean just straightforward talk. Um, a lot of people don't like to get into that. They feel uncomfortable about that because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or they don't want it to go off the rails or sidetrack. So listening, very key. 2, engagement. Be very involved in the process. Be very involved in your firm. Don't just come into the firm, hello, and go and walk and close the door, and you're on the phone all day or doing whatever you do with the door closed. Keep the door open. Listen. Ask everyone how they're doing in the morning. Ask them how their day is going. Listen to what they're saying. If they have problems, complaints, concerns, make sure you're engaging, giving feedback. I hear you. That's one of the things we're going to work on, respond like that. Respond to them. Let them know that, yes, I hear you. I hear you. Engagement is also key. Well, they're all key. I'm going to say they're all key after all of them. Clarity, whether it's verbal or written. Sometimes when you're expressing something and you're trying to convey a point, sometimes it's verbal clarity. Other times it's written clarity in your procedures and policies. When you do write out those procedures and policies, make sure they are clear and everyone understands them. First day we go over them. Does anyone have any questions after you go over them? If you modify or change any of the procedures or policies, make sure you go over them as a group. Do you understand? Make sure you know that everyone understands what those procedures and policies are. you know, company-wide protocols. That's just the nature of the beast. You know, also having one thing I believe is have a session, whether it's once a week, once a month, ask and answer question session. Have an hour. What's on your mind? 45 minutes if it takes, hour if it takes more. Tell me what's on your mind, any concerns, how do you feel about the direction of the firm? Is there anything you think we should change, why, as a group? Because a lot of times someone may be hesitant to say something in a one-on-one, may feel more comfortable in a group. And then you may feel that not just that person feels that way, but more. And you're able to work on that. Definitely. Consistency. You have to be consistent when communicating. Set expectations for all involved. And you know, this is all interaction with the firm. And this goes with clients as well. Set expectations on how you want your staff to your team members, your attorneys, your paralegals, your admin assistants, how you want them to interact not only with the team members at large, but also the clients. This is how we interact. This is what happens when we communicate. This is what we do. This is how we communicate. This is make sure we respond within X amount of time. Make sure when you relay something to client, you get a response that they do understand. So it's always consistent. Everything is consistent, how you communicate with your team members, how you communicate with your clients. So there's no mistaking. And this also goes into procedures and policies too. These terms of communication can be written and explained out in the procedures and policies as well. And then lastly, it's transparency. Be transparent. Be open. Let them know what you're doing, why you're doing it when it comes to anything that affects them. Explain it, talk about it, be transparent about it. Don't seem like you're hiding something. That's why I say about closing the door. Don't always close your door, kind of separating yourself, almost like you're working in the back room doing something. Keep it open, unless you obviously there's times where you do have to close your door and you have to talk about things. But be open, honest, transparent. This is best policy when it comes to communication. So those 5, we go back over those 5, and that's listening, engagement, clarity, consistency, and transparency. Those are the pillars of communication. Very important for both clients and team members. Let's get to work on it. Let's start today. See you next time on the right hand.